Welcome to Canada's podcast. Michael, welcome to Canada's podcast. You're in Winnipeg today, which is a little different than me in Toronto, but that's fine. So, as I always do at the intro, before we get going, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how you got here, basically.
Certainly. Well, thank you so much for having me here today, Philip. A little bit about myself. I'm a 27-year-old entrepreneur, born and raised here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I kind of first started off my career at a car dealership. So my first job was actually at Mercedes-Benz Winnipeg, where I detailed cars in the beginning here. And then I actually was promoted to sales, and I was the youngest salesperson they have ever hired, which was a pretty big accomplishment. It was great. I mean, I absolutely love cars. So it was really nice being around all of these very special cars and meeting very unique people, which helped me accelerate in my career later on. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of my first dive into my career. And then while I was actually at Mercedes, I was also attending the University of Manitoba, and I was taking science courses and business courses. And, I ended up following my passion and started a company called Rent Your Ride. It kind of put both together, my passion for technology and cars. It was a peer-to-peer vehicle rental app that allowed people to list their vehicles on the platform like Airbnb and rent them out to other people to earn some extra cash.
I actually have used it, funnily enough. So just
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. What'd you think?
It was good.
Yeah. Good. That was my first startup. So I grew it to 14,500 signed up users, which was super exciting here in Manitoba. And we had over 1,000 rental transactions and did over 6 figures in revenue. So after that, this is kind of when I started Atom. So Atom stands for All Life Digital Asset Manager, and it allows you to securely upload videos, files, photos, passwords, whatever they may be, to a secure cloud-based server, and you can pass them on to whomever you want to have access to those when you pass away. So those are the two sort of startups that I've been in so far.
Okay. What about, why the entrepreneurial journey? So there you are, Mercedes Winnipeg, you're cooking, you're obviously selling a lot of cars. The commissions aren't bad. I know that. I grew up in the automotive business, and why move on? You're pretty young. Why not stash some cash and sell Mercedes?
Yeah, that's a great question. Ever since I was like 12 years old or 13 years old, I remember Google searching how to own my own dealership. I've always kind of wanted to work for myself. I like the idea of the, flexibility. I like the idea of building something, building a team, building a product. That's just kind of where I ended up going. Also, when I was asking a bunch of the customers at the dealership what they did for a living, a lot of them said they owned businesses, and they were all driving my favorite cars. Like I said, I'm a huge car guy, and unfortunately for my pockets, I do have expensive taste in vehicles. But with that being said, I did talk to a lot of customers, and I learned a lot from them. A lot of being successful business owners, doctors, lawyers, all walks of lives. And after talking to a lot of them, I kind of felt that entrepreneurship was the best route to take, and the one that I was most passionate about as well too.
Well, tell us a little bit more about the vision for Atom. I mean, where is it? Is it going to take you to, superstardom, awesomepreneurship, as I term it?
Yeah. Well, that's the plan. That's the for Atom. The great thing about Atom is the utility is there for everyone, right? So, just to give you a little backstory of how this all came about. When I was 15 years old, I was actually hit by a car, and I almost lost my life. my dad raised me as a single father, so I was basically the only thing he had, right? And if I did lose my life, he would have not only lost me, but he would have lost all of the precious memories that I had of us on our phone, and or sorry, on my phone. And I never shared my password with my dad. I don't know if you've ever heard of the saying, if I ever die, please delete my browser history. People don't like sharing their passwords just because they do have some private things on their phone. And me being a teenager, I didn't want my dad to see everything on the phone, right? So, with that being such a traumatic experience, I always, kind of, thought what would have happened? Like, what if I did die? And, that's kind of where Adam formed, right? And the great thing about Adam is, it allows you to personally upload, photos, files, videos, passwords, whatever they may be, to the secure cloud server, and you can pass them on to whomever you want. And the nice thing about it too is it's extremely secure and easy to use, right? So we patent two things called the executor key and release timer. So Philip, let's say that I wanted to give you access to my Adam account. Let's say me and you are best friends, and or we're doing a business together, and I wanted you to have these important things if I pass away. I would upload them to my Adam account, and when I sign up and create my Adam account, I'm given an executor key. So this executor key is a 32-digit alphanumeric code that is then given to whomever you want to have access to your Adam account. So I would be giving you this executor key, right? And let's say, God forbid, I walk outside today and I get hit by a bus, or I get hit by another car like I did when I was 15, and I lose my life. You would then use that executor key to access my Adam account. And that paired with the release timer, which is a second layer of security. So again, when I set up my Adam account, that's set for 2 weeks. It prevents people from accessing your account when you don't want them to. So as soon as you use the executor key, if I was still alive, what would happen is that release timer would start for 2 weeks. I would get notifications saying someone's trying to access my account. Obviously, I'm still alive. I don't want that to happen. So I say no, and it would deny you access. Now, again, God forbid, I get hit by the bus, and you hear about that. You then access my Adam account with the executor key. The two week release timer runs out, obviously, since I passed away and I can't respond to those notifications. And then you would gain access to all of the precious memories or business documents, passwords, whatever I wanted you to have would be left there for you.
But I mean, I'm interested. You're in your late 20s. You started a career. What advice would you give to an entrepreneur looking to start a business? I mean, how could you afford to start a business? All of those kind of things.
Yeah. So the first thing is, if you have a career right now or a job, you want to make sure you have at least 6 months to a year runway of savings in your bank account. So if you have no income coming in whatsoever, make sure you have at least enough savings to sustain your way of living without any income. I would actually recommend at least a year of that, because when you start a business, it doesn't always take off right away, right? It does take some time, and you can't rely on income coming in from your business to pay your expenses. So that's the number one thing. Number two is make sure you're passionate about it. So whatever you're diving into, make sure this is something that you really want to do. And the reason why I say that is this is something I experienced with Rent Your Ride. There's a lot of hurdles, right? And, it's very easy to want to give up and just stop doing it, which is why you have to be passionate about it. If you're extremely passionate about it, no matter what hurdle comes across, you're easily able to overcome it. So, for example, one of them with Rent Your Ride was someone's vehicle got stolen, right? And this was a huge hurdle for me. It was the first time we ever experienced it. Extremely stressful. And, there was a pretty high bill that could have come out of it if we weren't fully prepared and we had the proper coverage. So that's just one example, is to be passionate about it. And then also on top of that, make sure you have a good mentor. One of my best mentors that I've ever come in contact with was actually a client of mine from Mercedes-Benz. and he kind of guided me through, setting up a business, what to look out for with partners, you know, what you need to do to really prepare yourself to be a successful business owner. The great thing about the mentor is usually they've already been through it, right? You want to look for someone that's, already built a successful business and, has time to help someone or is willing to help you. And the reason for that is because they've experienced everything already. So you don't have to go through those hardships that they may have had to go through. And they can give you an early warning on certain things. So those are kind of the main things that I would recommend. And last but not least, if there's something that you want to do, just do it. A lot of people come to me and they're like, "Oh, how did you, start this business? How did you, get started with all this stuff?" And I always just say, "I just did it." Right? So many people have great ideas, but they never follow through with it. They always get stuck at that idea portion. And if you follow through with it, you're like 50% of the way there, right? If you don't follow through with it, you have nothing but just an idea. So
what's the biggest challenge you face today? In sort of in your entrepreneurial side of things, and how did you overcome it?
So I would say I experienced like a couple challenges. One of the more noticeable ones for me was it was a steep learning curve, right? Like I've never done something like this before. So when you dive headfirst into something like this, you may think you know everything, you can do all the research you want, but then that one thing pops up that you don't know how to handle, right? It could be like a lawsuit or like anything like that, right? And you're like, whoa, what do I do here, right? And then you're kind of panicking. So one of the challenges I would say is just it's such a vast thing to dive into that one of the challenges I had was just learning everything, and it comes with time, right? 21-year-old me knew a lot less than 27-year-old me now. So that's one of the things. Another more intricate thing is delegating tasks, kind of balancing it. So, for example, if you have a startup that's, kind of eating cash or requires cash injections all the time, it's very hard to sort of balance how much time you should spend on little admin tasks. And like you kind of have to think, okay, do I have enough money to hire someone to do this? If I keep on doing this myself, it's actually going to cost me more money over the long term. Mm-hmm. So it's very, just figuring out the balance with that kind of stuff is also tough, especially if you're new to it. And then the third was also raising capital as well too. So finding how to raise capital for businesses or who to approach, when to approach them, doing the metrics for your business. It's there's a lot of stuff that was challenging in the beginning for me.
So I kind of dumb question, one of my rapid fire questions. If you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing instead? You'd probably be back selling Mercedes by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably sell Mercedes. I'm pretty passionate about those vehicles. Mm-hmm. I also, if I would have my own dealership, I'd look into doing that. But yeah, something finance related or technology or vehicle related is something I would probably be doing.
What book are you currently reading or listening to? I don't care which one, even.
Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very.
What do you think of it? Are you finished it? What do you?
No, I'm a quarter of the way through. Actually, I just started it. It's a extremely good book. I recommend it to anyone. It really solidifies, atomic habits. Having good habits and getting through with your day and getting things done properly. So yeah, I really like it.
Are you a morning or a night person?
I'm a night owl, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting. What do you do at night? I mean, in terms of getting your work done?
I do a lot of admin work. I do a lot of preparation for the next day as well. So To give you an example, when I was going to the University of Manitoba and I was also working at Mercedes-Benz, the only time I had at night to work on my projects was, or sorry, the only time during the day to work on my projects was actually at night, right? So when I was done Mercedes, when I was done school, I had a time frame from 7 p.m. till 2 a.m. to work on these projects, right? And that's sort of what I did. I did a lot of research then. I did a lot of admin work. I figured out, marketing plans, business plans, all during those times later at night. And it's nice too, because it's peaceful, right? No one's texting you, no one's calling you. You can kind of focus and get what you need done at night, and also early in the morning too. I've tried to be a morning person as well, getting up at 4:30, 5 a.m., going to the gym. But I do prefer working at night. I'm more of a night owl, I'd say.
If you had to pick one word to describe Michael, what would it be and why?
Resilient. And the reason I would say that is because I've been able to overcome a lot of adversity. I didn't grow up from a wealthy family. My dad raised me as a single father making minimum wage. So right there and then I kind of already had, the odds against me in terms of building something. And then also my car accident as well. Like I said before, I got hit when I was 15 years old. I got hit by a car. This was during high school. I was in the hospital for 2 months straight during high school, and I was still able to graduate on time. I've had 17 surgeries since. My last surgery was 3 years ago when I first started dating my girlfriend, Sydney. And that was my last surgery. So, I've experienced a lot of things in life that, usually would set people back or, push them down. And I never really let it push me down. Like I said, I finished school on time. I graduated on time, and I was still able to excel in my career afterwards, given any physical limitations or financial limitations as well. So I'd say resilience.
So you talked about the value of mentorship, which was cool. What's the best piece of advice that you've received that you kind of, carry in your back pocket and apply it when needed, kind of thing?
Yeah, well, my mentor always says this one line, and it's you can't sit there and expect a cooked chicken to fly into your mouth. Meaning, basically, you can't sit there and expect everything to come to you just because you have something, right? You have to go out there and get it. So you have to make those calls, you have to make those emails, you have to take that extra step to get those clients. And if you don't mind, I want to share another one. There's actually another really good one that he shared with me. And it was make mistakes quick, right? So if you make a mistake, bounce from it quickly and learn from it instead of dwelling on it and, taking your time. You got to get that mistake done and over with quick, pivot, and make sure that it doesn't happen again. That was another solid piece of advice that he gave me that stuck with me.
So what's keeping you up at night? Even though you don't go to bed till 2 o'clock in the morning, but what's keeping you up at night?
It's mainly work. It's mainly work. I mean, there's a lot to do. If you're an entrepreneur and you're always full of ideas and there's lots of things that you need to do. That's basically what keeps me up at night. I have large ambitions, and with those ambitions does come some stress sometimes. So to reach those goals. So I would say that also keeps me up at night as well. I'm pretty hard on myself sometimes, but it's for the better, I'd say. So.
Okay. That's it. Very, very precise and concise, Michael. I think we're about there in terms of the interview. It's been really fun, actually. You've got some very clear comments on things, and I really like that. So thank you very much for coming on Canada's podcast. It's really been great meeting you.
Thank you.